Yo, what's going on, guys? So, in today's episode of Toxic Talks, episode number 19, we have a lot to go over. Oh boy, have I had a very interesting week to say the least. Um, but let's just start out with gaming first and foremost. For Throne, it's sort of winding down. We're getting little bits of events and all that, but basically the content is sort of coming to an end, kind of thing, at least until the next expansion. So we're sort of resorting to like final, I guess, videos for now in terms of like making theory crafted builds and stuff, but it's still going all right. We're going to try to do our best to make it until Nightreign comes out, but it might seem we're going to have to make Nightreign our go-to game, but we'll see how that ends up going. Could be interesting and could be fun. Either way, we're going to see what we can make of it, and we definitely have a ton of different options in terms of stream and in terms of videos, so we'll see what ends up happening. But we're starting to work on resonance for my main character. I think we have a few resonance done for that, but we'll end up seeing how that goes. So far it's been decent. As it goes for my alt, we're just missing one level for an accessory, so that's pretty decent. And then we'll start working on resonance for that as well. Um, and like I said before, we're sort of in a limbo state at the moment, but we'll see what ends up happening for that. But for Tarkov, we've basically haven't played too much this week. We're still sort of taking a little break from it. Because pretty much like the last things we have to do are for Lightkeeper, and I don't know how I feel about I would want to finish off the Lightkeeper quest chain, but I don't know how I would feel about just going in, leaving, going in, leaving, and hoping that there are PMCs where I need them to be, but we'll see what ends up happening with that. But I have been playing a decent amount of Elden Ring, which I guess is pretty good considering it's going to be preparation for Nightreign coming out. And I wouldn't say getting through it, like we ended up actually finishing Shadow of the Erd Tree for playthrough 8 relatively easy. I want to say too easy, but relatively easy. So that was pretty nice. And but mainly we've been going in trying to rune farm, and I've been looking at how many runes I need, like thinking about it like in one way, like if you're like, okay, you need 1.7 billion runes, that's really, really upsetting. But if you look at it as it in I need 1,700 or whatever, um times a million, so you just get a million 1,700 times. It honestly isn't too bad. I think I did the math of it. It could like, I think it's like 48 hours worth of just pure rune farming, but we'll see what ends up happening with that. That is a that is going to be a grind, but I'm not going to stress too much about it cuz well, Nightreign, that's going to be our priority. It seemed like, but in crazy gaming news, GTA 6 has a confirmed release date. Like before it was a speculative release date in October, but now we know it is May 26, 2026. So that's pretty huge. I'm excited for that. And we'll see what ends up happening. Also, there's been some other like announcements and betas for as well as like I would say unknown games that have become known. Um, a lot of people are going crazy over a game called Expedition 33, which seems relatively interesting. I'll have to look at more videos on it to, I guess, understand it more, but that looks interesting. I also watched Landmark play, what was it, Marathon. At least my initial reaction to it is I don't think it's as bad as everyone is saying, but I don't think it's like a game breaking game like Elden Ring was. Like I think it's just one of those games that it's like, okay, here it is, here's something new to play, but it's not something like, oh, I need to try this. It's sort of just one of those games that it's like, oh, this can pass the time for a little bit. Um, but it's not as bad as people I think people were saying. It definitely looks interesting. Definitely doesn't look like it's a game that's going to be just the worst of the worst, but it's not going to be the best of the best. It's sort of one of those like mid-level kind of games, but that's basically what's been happening in gaming for this week. But in terms of what happened to me um this past week, and something that I'm not going to go into too much detail about all these different things, but um there was a little bit of how do I put it, a whoopsies by someone else on Tuesday, and I'm having to deal with that at the moment, but I'm not too concerned, if I'm being honest. I I wasn't the one who did the whoopsies, but we'll see what ends up happening with that. Um but the following day, and I'm going to tread carefully talking about this cuz I think it's still relatively raw. Maybe not for me, which I'll go into while we talk about it, but I think it's raw for my family as well as, um, well, here's the surprise, my ex's family. Um, but ToXc and I broke up this week, so um, and it's sort of a two-sided issue because I saw the possibility of it happening. I prepared for it, but I don't think I don't think I saw it coming this soon. And it's just it's just unfortunate. I was actually talking with one of my buddies before making this video, and I think one of the things is, how do you go from loving someone every single day, seeing them every single day, and just wanting them to be in your life, like fighting for them, wanting them to be in your life every single day, to just basically never seeing them again, not being able to love them? Like, you like I I cared for her beyond measure, and I have to go from I wouldn't want anyone or anything to hurt her to basically not caring, I guess is the best way to put it. But, I think there will always be somewhat of a care, but I'm basically at a point where I have to force myself to just let go, I guess is the right word to put it. Um, but, you know, and I don't try to make this as an insult to anyone because this isn't gonna be my first failed relationship, but um there's this saying, I'm pretty sure it comes from the Bible, but love never fails pretty much. So if it failed, it wasn't really love. And that I like I can't say I'm too upset at it all. I've sort of again I've dealt with this. I would have rather it not ended this way. I would have rather or we worked on our differences and worked on our issues, but you know, if you look at it like love never fails, then apparently that relationship was never about love. But you know, I think we cared for each other. I do think we did. But you know, I could see the writing on the wall for a while. That's why I say I was prepared for it. That's why you don't really hear too much emotion out of me. And you know, it's just I think how I would say it is it's just disappointing. It's one of those things that you understand that it maybe needed to happen, or that's just how it was supposed to go, but it's not how you wanted it to go. Um, but I will say, we had, and it's kind of crazy, but we dated for 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days. Um, we had a lot of fun and exciting experiences, and we were planning on things in the future while I was trying to build up stream and YouTube and try to get basically ourselves on a good footing and a good base. But well, you just have to move on to the next chapter in my life, and well, we'll see what ends up happening with that. I have more free time. Basically, I didn't have any free time for myself. It was basically work, hang out with with her, and then come back and either try to get prepared or ahead for the following day of work, and then self-care, and then sleep, and that was basically my day. So we'll see what ends up happening with that free time. I mean, right now I'm currently basically decompressing. I just sit in my beanbag, and just sort of unwind. Haven't been able to really do that in a while, but you know, if I had to trade, I would obviously trade out sitting in a beanbag to spend time with someone I loved. But you know, it's just the way the ball bounces. It's just the way the ball bounces, and you know, we'll see what the future holds. We'll see what the future holds. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily optimistic, but I'm not pessimistic either. I understand that in order for better things to come into my life, other things need to be removed. I'm no stranger to that happening, but definitely not how I wanted it to go. I will say that it's definitely not how I wanted it to go, and I think in both the cases for my family as well as her family, I don't think they saw it coming either. And I can't say, I'm not going to speak on their behalf, but I think everyone is a little disappointed. I think everyone saw a bright future for our relationship, but um that will never come to be anymore. So, um but if there's a life lesson in all of this, it's basically life doesn't go as planned. Sometimes things in your life need to be removed for even better things to take place. And I really truly believe that. I really truly believe that. I didn't see anything better than what I had. I very much enjoyed the relationship that I had, but you know, can't be too upset. I'm just going to skip this so I don't get copyright struck on that. But yes, this is a VOD that we're watching. If you guys wonder where I get the gameplay from, it's a VOD, but I don't want to get copyright struck on that, so I'm just going to skip that. Um, but, you know, if that wasn't the best situation I could be in, I can only imagine what the best situation is. Um, it's tough though. It is tough. I like again, I'm not emotional about this, but it's never easy, you know? No matter how much you're prepared, no matter how much you've gone through something, it's never easy. And you know, it's not how I wanted things to go. It's not how I envisioned things to go, but I know it will turn into a positive. And that goes for everybody else. You know, people have asked me countless times for relationship advice. And what I'll say is, and I say this all the time, is Never feel bad or upset for someone who doesn't want you in their life wholeheartedly. Someone in this world wants you for you. I mean, obviously you're going to want to do have growth and improvement, but they'll want you for you, and they will do everything in their power to make the relationship work. They will, and this is not necessarily a good thing, but they will put you on a pedestal above themselves. They will sacrifice their happiness for the relationship, just like you should, by the way, just like you should do the same for them. You should sacrifice your happiness for them, and they should sacrifice their happiness for you. But so there will be someone in this world who will do that for you. For the beginning of your life, it's going to be your family, your parents, your cousins, possibly your neighbors. But there is someone who will complement your life, who maybe might not make your life better, maybe not make your life easier, even though technically speaking, it will happen, but it'll make life enjoyable to go through. And unfortunately for me, that relationship, it appears, was not it. But we'll see what happens in the future. We'll see if there is another ToXc chick out there in the world. And, well, you'll hear it first if there is. But, I think I do want to end it on the fact that, and I can't emphasize this enough, that this is not the way I saw my life going. I can't say I'm too happy about it, but I understand that this is a part of life and there are better things to come. But on that note, I want to wish each and every one of you guys a wonderful week. Let's have smiles, laughs, even at the expense of bad things. You can always look back at your past failures and have a laugh at it. But I hope each and every one of you guys has a wonderful week, a wonderful day. And as always, take care. And I'll talk to you guys later.